Hello friends, welcome back to the channel and Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's been over 2 months since I recorded my last video, but I was on some restrictions that prevented me from sitting and standing for long periods of time. I'm not gonna disclose too much, but that's the reason behind it, and now I'm back and I'm trying to catch up with everything that has happened since I was gone. I know Microsoft's Flight Simulator 2024 was released. I tried it, I have it, but unfortunately, this is my experience, yours might be different. I had a lot of crashes to desktops. The aircraft, even the Unibuilt Airbus series aircraft were acting erratically. Things were going haywire during approach, landing, and it wasn't very pleasant to fly. So I am back in 2020 until 2024 is more stable, and I will be using my add-ons that I enjoy to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 until 2024 is up to speed. Let me know about how your experience is, because hardware configurations, peripherals, there are a lot of variables comes into play when it comes to flight simulation, and the experience change. So some people do not have any issues with crashes to desktops. I had so many of them. Anyway, today, as you see in the background, we are going to take a look at the recently released FlightFX Piaggio P180 Avanti, and we will be taking a flight from Crete to Thessaloniki in Greece. We are currently parked at ramp 5 at Crete, and we will shortly start powering up the aircraft, entering our flight plan and preparing the aircraft for departure. Additionally, offline ATC and traffic injection will be provided by Beyond ATC. The only downside is I picked an IKEA code of a private charter service, Icarus Airlines. Beyond ATC recognizes as Iguana Airlines, so we'll have to live with that. Anyway, let's hop into the cockpit and get the aircraft prepared for departure. Come to the flight deck of the Piaggio P180. I'm not going to go around and take a look at the 3D modeling and look around the cabin. There are a lot of videos on YouTube showing that, and my personal opinion, FlightFX has done a great job with the modeling and texturing of this aircraft. Also, the system simulation is great. If you have flown the Cessna Citation CJ4 in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, you would recognize these screens. This aircraft is also equipped with Collins ProLine P180 avionics suite, autopilot, 3 display screens, PFD for the pilot, co-pilot, and navigation display, as well as a single FMC as opposed to the dual FMC on the CJ4. I wonder if this FMC is using the modified code by working title that improved the CJ4 quite a bit, but there is no disclosure or information that I was able to find from FlightFX whether this is their custom code or using bits and pieces from working title's work. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll power the aircraft. You can consider this video 50-50 tutorial and me coming back to recording type of video. I will be showing or talking about how to get certain things done, but this is not a 100% tutorial focused video. I just wanted to put that out there. What we will do is we will power on the aircraft. We'll go over the FMS options to enable the GPU and how you can enter your full SimBrief ID to import your flight plan, and we'll take it from there. We'll board the passengers and then eventually move out and depart to our destination. There's a very simple EFB with Navigraph, moving map, and some settings that you can change, like the state covers. We can remove the engine and instrument covers right now. Main door and luggage door will be kept open for the time being to board our passengers. We are in the executive configuration that changes the cabin, adds a laptop to the table, yada yada. Food service, we're not worried about that. This is a short flight. We have some luggage in the luggage compartment. Active noise reduction, we'll take a look at this when we start the engines, and the steering mode, we'll talk about this also. I enabled the engine damages, so we are going to baby these two turboprop engines to prevent the damage, but that's pretty much it for now when it comes to settings. As I said at the beginning, we are currently parked at ramp 5 in Crete. Let's just pull the airport charts. Lima Golf India Romeo is the ICAO code for Crete. And our departure, when given, we are expecting the Apollo 1 Victor departure, but we will get that clearance from the ATC once we power up the aircraft. Alright, powering up procedure, we'll just take a look at the checklist. There's an aircraft coming, so when the doors are open, this is the problem, it gets very loud in Microsoft Flight Simulator. An aircraft is probably leaving. There we go. There's an aircraft doing something or pushing back. But let's not worry about that. So before start, entrance door, yeah, we'll secure it later. Crew passenger briefing is complete, seats are adjusted, switches are in the off position, and we can turn the battery to battery position. That will power the aircraft using the battery power. We'll check the fuel quantity. We are currently reading 588 kilograms in each tank. I'm sorry, that's pounds. It's showing pounds. And I'm not sure if there's a way to change the units, but only way to load the fuel is through this Microsoft Flight Simulator weights and balances screen, and we will need 711 kilograms of fuel for this flight, so I'll take 726, a little bit extra, and that should give us enough fuel. So 800 pounds in each tank. That's now checked. Parking brake is behind our yoke and it's set, and the avionics master switch, we will use it and move it to the COM1 only position just to save some battery power. Now we have two ways of continuing the rest of the programming and startup. We can use a GPU, we can start the engines and use engine power to remain powered on and not to drain the battery. We are going to use the GPU. This is how you can connect the GPU to the aircraft. You have to move the avionics switch to the on position momentarily. That will power the FMS. We will go to the index page, next page, and under the settings, this is where you enter your SimBrief ID, and this is where you enable the ground power. Now we have ground power connected. We are no longer draining the battery, and we can continue with FMS programming and getting our clearance, and then eventually we will board our passengers. First things first, we are going to start listening to the ADIS. ADIS frequency is 127.555. We will tune it to our COM1 127, and this is gonna take a while to get down to 555. I wish I had a radio panel, might have made things a lot easier, but there we are, tuned into the ADIS frequency.
At 1,800, ceiling 2,500 broken, temperature 10, dew point 05, QNH 1025, landing and departing runway 27, transition level 060. Read back all hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Bravo.
We'll listen once more.
Kazantzakis Airport information. Bravo. 1114 Zulu. Wind 325 at 20. Visibility 10 miles or more. Few clouds at 1000. Scattered at 1,800. Ceiling 2,500 broken. Temperature 10. Dew point 05. QNH 1025.
Okay, I have listened enough. Winds are 320 at 325 at 20, so 20 knots. It's a little bit windy. Temperature is 10 degrees, which matches our screen. Information Bravo, and departing runway is 27. We can go ahead and tune to clearance delivery. That is 129er decimal 175. And request our clearance, and then we will board the passengers and close our doors, and we'll be out of here very shortly. 175, 129er decimal 175. And I'm getting some micro stutters, not sure why. And that's the clearance. So that aircraft is hopefully leaving now. We have two ways of doing this. Either we use voice and request clearance, or we will use our pre-populated requests on the screen of the Beyond ATC to request the clearance. I will use the voice, let the aircraft leave. It's very loud, I know, but let's go to the index and position initialization and start with initializing our position. Go to the flight plan. You can enter it manually to the ProLine P180, or you can go to the index, route menu, and flight plan recall. For this to work, you have to have your SimBrief ID entered into the box I showed a little bit ago. So this will request the flight plan, and there we go. We have the flight plan. If we go to the next page, can we go to the next page? Well, we'll execute this, and this should, oh, okay. That wasn't too much of a flight plan, I guess. Or it didn't populate correctly. I don't know. We'll take a look at the waypoints. No, that didn't. We'll try this once more. Route menu, flight plan recall. Okay, that's correct, but it's not bringing the YAs and 2s, so I don't know why. I guess our only option is to enter them manually. I don't know what happened here, but let's do this. First waypoint is Apollo. This way you will see how it's entered. So direct to Apollo. That will change once we have our SID from ATC. Next page, we are going to take an airway upper mic 749er. That will take us to MIL. From MIL, we are taking another airway, upper Lima 617. This will take us to Lekpo. From Lekpo is our arrival. So we'll leave it at this, execute this, go to the departure arrival page. We know runway 27 is the departure runway, and we will contact ATC for clearance. We are already at the clearance frequency, so let's go ahead and request our clearance. The information was Bravo, and we are at stand 5 or ramp 5. Kazakhstan delivery Iguana 940 at stand 5 with information Bravo, requesting IFR to Macedonia.
Iguana 940, Kazan delivery. Information Bravo correct. Expect runway 27 Apollo 1 Victor departure with the Apollo transition. Squawk 2350.
Alright, he was very fast speaking guy, but we got the Apollo 1 Victor departure. That's what we were expecting anyway. There it is. Runway 27. Execute that. Our squawk code is 2350. We'll just go and enter it here. 235.
Iguana 940, Kazan delivery. Information Bravo correct. Expect runway 27 Apollo 1 Victor departure with the Apollo transition. Squawk 2350.
He is waiting us to read back the IFR clearance. Cleared to Macadamia via runway 27, Apollo 1 Victor departure with Apollo transition. Squawk 2350, Iguana 940.
Iguana 940, read back, correct. Contact ground 121.7 when ready for start of taxi.
Ground on 121.7 for taxi, Iguana 940. Okay, that's our clearance. Squawk code is entered. We know we are departing runway 27. That departure is already selected in the box. And I guess we will select our arrival, preliminary arrival, and if it changes, we will change it. We are going to arrive to runway 28 and we'll do a VOR DME approach via the leg pole 1 kilo arrival with like transition. So that's our arrival. If we take a look at the legs, there is one discontinuity here. We can clear that. Maybe they will vector us in, I don't know at this point, but that's our flight plan in the box, and we are ready for engine start and boarding our passengers. We can assume that our passengers are on board by now. There is no GSX boarding I'm gonna use at this point. We can close the luggage door and main door. Hopefully that will give us some silence. We can remove the chucks. We verified that parking brake was on, and we can continue with the engine start after requesting our startup clearance. So we haven't done the performance. Perhaps let's finish that and then we will request our startup clearance. How about that? So to do the performance, we'll go into the performance initialization. According to our flight plan, we have 8 passengers on board and we have 181 kilograms of cargo. There we go. Execute this and take off. We are departing runway 27. Winds are 325 at 20 according to the ADIS information we heard. Sorry, wrong box, that's here. And then outside air temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. QNH is 1025, that's already synced. Execute this, go to the next page. That gives us a rotate speed of 108 knots. We can send this to our FM or PFD as a bug. NTIs will be off, flaps will be mid, and that all looks good. Okay. Performance is also done. Now we can switch this back to save some battery power. Oh, hold on, not yet. We'll go. Open it once more. Index, we need to disconnect the GPU. I forgot to do that. Ground power disconnected. And avionics back to COM1 only position. And we can request push and start. Frequency is already tuned by our co-pilot. And he can respond from here. So I'm going to turn on auto respond. And our co-pilot will do the readback. Kazakhstan ground. Iguana 940 requesting startup.
Iguana 940, engine start approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Roger, startup approved, Iguana 940.
Alright, that's our co-pilot. And startup approved. So to start, let's go to the checklist. We are gonna start on battery. Anti-collision light will go to ground. We also can turn the position lights, which we should have done once we power the aircraft. Power levels are in idle. Condition levers are in cutoff position. Firewall shut-off valve is this guy. We'll turn it open. Fuel pump to main. That's also checked. Fuel pressure light should be off for the right engine, which it is. And bleed air switches are here, they are off. Hydraulics are here, that's off too. Ignition switch is in the norm position, that's right here, this yellow switch here. propellers are clear, and we can just push the engine switch to start. Once it reaches 13 ng, that's gonna come very fast. We will move the condition lever to ground idle position. So on 13% ground idle, and then we will monitor the ITT. ITT is climbing. There we go. Oil pressure is increasing, oil temperature is also increasing, NG RPM is also increasing over here. It's at 1050. All these are checked. Engine start switch is off. And while the engine is idling, ITT is 642, 750 max. Oil pressure is minimum 60, that's checked. Oil temperature is 110 degrees max, it's 77 currently. NG RPM is 54 minimum, it's at 59.5. And RPM is 1050 with 900 minimum, it's about that. We will advance the condition lever to flight idle.
All aircraft be advised information, Charlie now current, QNH 1025.
That will give us enough power to use the right engine to cross start the left engine. Alright, the GPU is disconnected. Generator switch for the right engine is here, so the generator is on. Ammeter, to check the ammeter, we'll just pull the systems page, and right generator amps is 126, so we are generating enough voltage to power the aircraft. We no longer drain the battery. Hydraulic pump switch, we will turn it on, and the hydraulic light went off. So that's done. We will continue with the cross starting. Condition lever flight idle, generator is operative, ammeter is checked and it's below 160. Firewall shut-off valve for the left engine is open. And the power level is idle, condition lever is cut off, fuel pump to main, already done that one. Fuel pressure light is off, lead air switches are still off, ignition switch is norm, probe is clear, and engine start to start. We'll do the same thing, monitor at 13%, we'll just go ground idle. Monitor that the ITT is not gonna exceed 1000 or for more than 5 minutes. And then oil pressure is increasing right here, oil temperature is increasing too. Check, check, check. Engine start switch is off, and ITT 650, oil temperature above 60 psi, oil temperature is below 110, PM is 59.5, engine is at 1050. Now we can pull both levers to ground idle. Perfect. And finally, we can turn the left generator on and check the amps to make sure our left gen is also working, which it is. Perfect. So that's completed, and we are ready to complete our taxi checklist and receive our taxi clearance. EPU is in the test position already. Alright, that's there, and we will arm the EPU. That's this guy here. We'll move the avionics switch to on, and once more wait for the gyros to stabilize and align align the gyros. Environmental temperature is our air conditioning system that's here, and it's in auto position, so we are not gonna touch that. Bleed air switches, we will turn them on. Pressurization switch is in the manual and auto schedule position. We will set our landing elevation to, I believe it was 100 feet, but we will check that once we are in the air. Landing altitude is set. Barometric correction is already set. 1025 should be around 31, so that is about right. Engine oil coolers are not required, gyros are aligned, radios are set. So there are a lot of system tests here that we can do. We are not gonna do them all. We will do the hydraulic test. That's working. Steering test. And we will do the stall warning. Ice detection. And the engines are running, so it's kind of useless to do the fire detection, but low fuel, that's also working. Lamps are working. Annunciations are working. And that last one is engine speed. And finally, overspeed warning. Alright, we will leave it at this. That's enough tests. All the tests are done. Trims. So our trim indicator is here. So we will set our trim to the green band for takeoff. If I get a little bit closer, you'll see the... hopefully see the trim indicator moving. There we go. That's now set. Rudder trim and yaw trim are in the center position. One thing about the Pro line, you can change how your displays look from here. We are currently at plan format, GWX rows, arc, present position is what I like to use, and this is where you check your flight plan. Legs, this is this, and you can save this by holding this mem1 button, and it will store it, and you can just bring this view back. There is also a chart function. This was active in working title. I guess this is not in this version of ProLine P21, but will be okay. Ice detection, because we tested, is flashing there. Trim is set, ice detector is set, tested. Windshield heat, we will just put them on to low. Anti-ice, we are not gonna worry about this. EFIS, autopilot, radio altimeter, we will all move these tests and assume that they are done. Alright, let's request our taxi clearance to the runway, and then we will continue with the rest of the checklists. Kazantzakis ground, Iguana 940, requesting taxi to active.
Iguana 940, runway 27 taxi via Delta Golf. Hold short runway 12.
Runway 27 taxi via Delta Golf. Hold short runway 12, Iguana 940.
Okay, so let's pull the charts for the taxi positions and take a look. So we are given Delta Golf and hold short runway 2, so Delta. I don't see a Golf. That might be related to the taxiways not being correct in the sim, but Delta is here. That's 12, and I guess we are gonna cross 12 here, continue and Delta, and there is the Golf. I think it's giving after runway 12 Golf is here, so we will turn into runway 27 via Golf is what I'm guessing as the taxi instruction. So we have our taxi clearance. Let's complete the taxi before taxi checklist. Brakes we will check once we go start rolling. Steering system is an interesting one in this aircraft. Its responsiveness changes between steer for takeoff or steer for taxi. We'll keep it at steer for taxi, and if you don't want to deal with this, you can set the automatic steering mode in the EFB, and that will take care of it for you. But I like to keep it a little bit more realistic, so I have more things to do in the cockpit. And let's see. We will turn off the parking brakes. Interesting, for some reason my controllers are not working. Let me just fix this very quickly. And we'll be on our way. There we go. The parking brake is off. And finally, we will remove the chocks. I think we haven't. Oh, we have removed the chocks. Okay. I thought we haven't, but looks like we did. We'll give her some breakaway power, and she should start moving. So we are gonna turn around. So let's do that. I'll add some power to keep her moving. We should be still in ground idle position when it comes to the conditions levers. That we are. And let's turn around. Ground handling is really nice. This aircraft handles very nicely on the ground. I like it. Let me just close this. I don't wanna block the view after completing the checklist. We should be able to. There is the way to the taxiway. So brakes checked. Steering system is checked. Taxi lights are on. And prop reverse and flight instruments, we will check those once we are closer to the runway and ready to do our run-up. So that's the route we are gonna take. Very nice handling. Can just elevate our view a little bit if necessary. And we are currently doing 11 knots on the ground. Take this right turn. And hopefully we will get some clearance to cross runway 12 once we get there from ATC. Very quick to taxi with the idle thrust on the ground. We'll test reverse, and there we go. Reverse is working. We are coming and approaching runway 12. After here, that's the hold short for 12. Right there. Let's slow down.
940, cross runway 12 at Delta. Continue taxi via Delta Golf.
Perfect.
Cross
That's
runway
what we want.
12 at Delta. Continue taxi via Delta. Golf Iguana 940.
Alright. We are given the clearance to cross. That's perfect. We'll continue on Delta until we get to runway 27, and we'll do the engine run up once we are there. So I'm not gonna keep you guys here while I'm taxiing. I'll bring you guys back when we are at the hold short point of runway 27. See you in a little bit. Okay, here we are holding short at runway 27. We are handed off to the tower for departure clearance, but we will complete the run up first and then request our departure clearance from the tower. So engine run up, where were we? Right here. Parking brake is locked. Condition levers, we will do them to max RPM. And we will advance the power levers to 2000 RPM. I need to be very careful not to overspeed the engines and make sure we will have, there we go. That's 2000 RPM on both engines. Check, check, check. Propeller overspeed. We'll do the right first, dropping the RPM. Alright. Our overspeed governor is working. We will drop, and our propeller governor is checking for the minimum RPM. I don't know how exactly this is done, but I am assuming you just brought it to bring the throttles and the RPM to idle. Auto feather system, we will put it into the test mode, and we will have to increase the throttle for the auto feather system to kick in and test. We see the AFX displayed, so auto feather system is working. And we will move it back to idle position, arm the auto feather. And we are ready to request our departure clearance. Perfect. Kazantzakis Tower, Iguana 940, ready for departure.
Iguana 940, Kazantzakis Tower, wind 315 at 17, runway 27, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 27, cleared for takeoff. Iguana 940.
We have our takeoff clearance. Let's turn the landing lights on. We also need to go and turn our transponder. Oh, it's already on. So transponder is already on. We're good. We will line up and complete the rest. So pitot heat comes on. And there are no warnings. We should be good to go. And once we are here, we will do the takeoff checklist and get out of here. Overshot that turn a little bit. Let's cancel that caution. We don't have any active warnings on our displays. And that mouse bug of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 is still there. We can store the tablet and go to the circuit breakers are not modeled. Anti-collision light will be moved into air position. Windshield heat is in low. PIDOs are on. Seatbelt smoking signs are on. Flight instruments are checked. Engine gauges are checked. Everything is in green. Warning and caution lights are checked and there are none. Transponder is set. Bleed air switches are on. Fuel pumps are in main position. Condition levers are in max RPM now. Flaps are in the mid position, and that's indicated here too. Trim is set. Rudder and aileron is neutral. Flight controls full forward, full back, full left, full right, and the rudders are working. We'll change the steering mode to steer TO. Oil coolers are off, landing lights are on, nav lights are on, ice protection systems are not needed. Let's get out of here. Brakes released, increasing the throttles, pushing the yoke to add some forward pressure, and slowly applying power not to exceed 2000 RPM. And rotate speed is 108, so airspeed is live. Releasing the pressure on the yoke, and 108, 109, coming back, there we go, and she is ready to go. Positive rate, gear is coming up. And we are gonna cut the RPM slightly off to 1900 RPM and feed her some more thrust. And we can execute that right turn to stay on our flight path. And we can turn on the flight director to get some help from the flight directors, activate the nav, and flight level change for now.
Iguana 940, contact Heraklion departure 118.025.
Contact Heraklion departure 118.025, Iguana 940. Heraklion departure, Iguana 940. Good day, 1,500 feet.
Iguana 940, Heraklion departure identified, climb to flight level 160.
Climb to flight level 160, Iguana 940.
We are given 160. Let's set that. The altitude indicator. And let's follow the flight director to get back on our flight plan path. It's a little bit bumpy, I'm not gonna lie. You can definitely feel the wind, but we are following the flight plan and the flight directors, so we're fine. Alright, we are at 2800. We can activate the autopilot and increase the speed for flight level change to 180 knots. I am not able to find any information on the best climb speed for this aircraft, so we will use the current indications. We will feed some more thrust, and that should give us some power to get up to speed and start climbing. So we are currently level and not climbing, but we will be very shortly. We can also change the range to something like 50 miles for now, just to see a little bit better and get some TCAS information. So traffic is here. We can put the weather radar on, and we are still accelerating. I'm trying not to overspeed the engines, but we will increase the RPM just slightly to give us some more power to increase the speed. Flaps are now being retracted, and we can turn the landing light off. This landing light in this aircraft has a speed restriction, and it's turned off now. Perfect. We are doing 200 knots, climbing nicely. And transition altitude was 6000. I didn't change it. It is here when you go to the performance VNAV setup. That's there, and that's when you get the warning if you set it to 6000 to switch your altimeter to standard once you are over above 6000. Pushing the heading bug knob syncs the heading. I love it. It's much easier to do it this way. And we are en route, climbing nicely. I think this is perfect. We're passing through some clouds, but no ice warning, so we're fine. And we are waiting for ATC to give us further clearances. As we passed about 6000, it started flashing, so let's go and start the push the bar knob to go to standard setting. And there we have it, guys. We departed Crete and on our way to Thessaloniki. Top of descent is in 231 miles. There are some things that you can change on the screen. It's hard to show with this setup, but let's complete the checklist first, and then I'll show you what you can put on the navigation display. Alright, takeoff, we have done this. We are not gonna worry about that. Climb power is set. Airspeed 165. Oh, unbelievable. So we can climb at 165. I'll take it. I'll put a 5 knot buffer in there. Seat belts and no smoking, that's fine. Pressurization, we have set the altitudes and all that stuff, but we haven't checked if the cabin is being pressurized. Yes, it does. We don't see the cabin climbing. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Maybe that's a bug that needs fixed later on, but we are climbing. The cabin is, well, there's a delta differential, so there's a pressure differential. Cabin is being pressurized. Windshield tilt is in the low position, so that's about it for the checklist. Past 10,000, we have landing lights turned off, seat belts, we can relieve our passengers. And we'll keep climbing like this and wait for ATC to give us further clearance. Perfect. I'll keep you guys here until we reach cruise and then bring you guys back when we are ready to descend after completing the cruise checklist. I'm waiting on ATC to give us further instructions. Once they give us the cruise clearance, I will cut the video and bring you guys back when we are ready to reach the cruise level. But until that point, I'll keep you here and wait for ATC to give us further clearance above 16,000 feet. Very nice. Love it.
Iguana 940, contact Athens, control 135.875.
Okay. We are
Center on 135.875, Iguana 940.
Handoff to the center.
Athens control. Iguana 940 through flight level 134 for flight level 160.
We might get a clearance here for higher altitudes.
Olympic 6 Juliet Tango, Athens control. Expect Pexon 1 Alpha with the Pexon transition. Runway 33.
Expect Pexon 1 Alpha with the Pexon transition. Runway 33, Olympic 6 Juliet Tango.
Iguana 940, Athens control, identified. Climb to flight level 320.
Climb to flight level 320, Iguana 940.
That's our
Touch
cruise
Corridor
level.
771. Contact Cairo control 119.35. Have a good day.
I'll bring you guys back when we are close to our cruise level.
Contact Cairo Control 119.35, Dutch Corridor 771.
Welcome back, friends. We are approaching our top of descent.
Good day. Flight level 360.
Traffic is very busy. There are a lot of chatter going in the ATC window.
Sun Express 6 Echo Hotel, Athens control identified.
And why did we lose nav is the question. Okay, let's get back on the track
X-ray, flight level 311.
and arm the nav. So we have 25 miles and we need to do a couple things to get ready for our approach. First thing, we need to go and
Climb to flight
pull
level
up performance
380.
in it
Crete 3 Mike X-ray.
and approach. We need to enter the wind and temperature information for our arrival. We also have this neat function in the FMS. When we go to the data link and weather, we can request terminal weather of our arrival airport.
Descending via Viotek 1 Quebec, flight level 217.
Lima Golf Tango Sierra. We can plug this in and then send the request.
Lufthansa 8343, Athens control
And
identified.
if we go to the view, it says it's requested. Once we receive it, it will say it's received.
8343.
Received.
Contact Venizelos
So
information
winds
approach
are 120 at 5 knots,
16.025.
QNH is 10232, and temperature is 5 degrees.
Venizelos information approach 136.025.
So let's put this in here.
8343.
Approach 120 at 5
Athens
knots.
control, Charlotte for 1 Charlie Victor.
Temperature 5 degrees. QNH 1032.
Annex for 1 Charlie
That's
Victor.
our approach
Athens control.
page filled
Radar
up.
contact.
Anti-ice will be off. VREF is 116. V approach is 126. We send this to our FMS.
Flight level 330.
And that's about what we needed to do. Are we back on nav? Not yet. Let's.
Gulf Air 018, Athens control radar contact. Athens control, Cyprus for 399, good day, flight level 349.
So we should catch back on the track. I don't know how it went off
Cyprus
track,
4399,
but
Athens control
it's okay. We'll get back
identified.
to it. I just need to turn left just a little bit more to move the aircraft closer to the center, and then the LNAV will pick up when we get closer to the flight path.
Athens control identified.
11 miles to top of descent. and we need to call for ready for descent if I remember correctly. ATC is not gonna give us instructions before we reach out to them, and it's very busy, so I cannot see.
Saudia 918 Heavy, Athens Control identified.
Athens Control, Turkish 5 Echo Charlie, flight level 340.
Well, now should kick in. There we go.
Control, radar contact.
And we should be back on the track. Nice.
Iguana 940, Athens Control. Expect Lekbo 1 Delta, runway 10.
That's for us. Expect Lekpo 1 Delta. They are giving us runway 10. So okay, let's accept this clearance.
Expect Lekbo 1 Delta, runway 10, Iguana 940.
And let's change our arrival. We are going to
Athens Control, Air France 218 Heavy, flight level 310.
switch it to an ILS to runway 10.
Air France 218 Heavy,
Lekpo 1
Athens
Delta.
Control, radar contact.
And let me see the
Control, National Cargo 846 Heavy. Good day. Flight level
ILS
370.
Yankee. I'm looking at the chart.
National Cargo 846 Heavy, Athens Control, radar contact.
That is a little bit interesting.
Athens Control, AZOL 046, flight level 339er.
There we go. Okay. We can execute this. That's fine.
AZOL 046, Athens Control, radar contact.
It should calculate a top of descent for us, but we can also call and tell them that we are ready to descend. We still have plenty of time to get there.
LL 358, Athens Control identified.
Nice. Let's go and take a
Sun
look at
Express
our
6 Echo Hotel. Contact Anchor Control 119er decimal tree.
approach pages to make sure everything
Contact Anchor
is still
Control 119er
good.
decimal tree. Sun Express 6 Echo Hotel.
Yep, we're good.
Athens Control,
Nothing has
Arabia
changed here.
711, flight level 330.
We need to clear this discontinuity.
Arabia 711, Athens Control, radar contact.
Is that? That's here. Execute this, and that should give us our top of descent calculation back again.
Flight level 370.
Okay, it didn't. We can call.
Ryanair 4575, Athens Control, radar contact.
At this point, I'm not sure how it's going to calculate our top of descent, but we should be descending right now. And if I can get into the frequency.
Flight level 242.
Athens Control, Iguana 940, ready for descent.
Athens Control, Viotek 1490, descending via Piaggio 1 Quebec, flight level 303.
Let's see.
Iguana 940, Lekbo 1 Delta, runway 10, descend to 5,000 feet.
Okay, we are descending to 5,000. We are gonna match this.
Lekbo 1 Delta,
cut back
runway
the
10,
throttles.
descend to 5,000 feet. Iguana 940.
And keep reducing the altitude to 5,000, and we should be
66 Golf Alpha.
good to
Athens
go.
Control,
We
good
can
day
also do
identified.
VNAV.
Continue climb to flight level 320.
Should give us
Continue
VNAV.
climb to flight level 320,
Descent.
Griffin 66 Golf Alpha.
Perfect. We're good.
Velodia 1490, Athens Control, identified.
We'll descend like this, and I'll bring you guys back when we are
Velodia
ready to
1490.
execute our approach.
Contact Venizelos information approach 136.025.
Beautiful views down there, and I'll see you guys
Contact
in a
Venizelos
little
information
bit.
approach 136.025, Velodia 1490.
Welcome back, friends. We are almost at our destination, and from here on, we'll be together.
Cleared direct Benfei. Cross Benfei
runway 10.
Just on time. So we are clear direct to Benfey. That's where we are headed.
Cross Binf at or above 5,000 feet. Cleared ILS Zulu runway 10. Iguana
Okay,
940.
we need to increase our descent rate and bring back the throttles a little bit to give ourselves more time to descend. And we are cleared for ILS Zulu approach. Let's decrease the range a little bit to see a little bit better. Sync our heading bug. And we are at 15,000, so we need to slow down to give ourselves more time so that we can get down to 5,000, because we have 25 miles, so 10,000 to descent. That's, yeah, we need more vertical speed to drop down to 5,000 before it's too late. Cool. So far so good, and then from there it's going to be very easy. So the aircraft automatically tuned ILS, there is a preset button here. If you press that, you'll see the ILS is already tuned. Localizer 1, course 099, and IMAC is the identifier. If we look at the approach chart, the identifier is IMAC, 099 is the course, and all good. Missed approach altitude is 5,000. We'll set that once we are at the profile altitude, which is 5,000, then we need to descend down to 2,000 and then to capture the glide slope. We'll store the tablet for now. We'll just switch out of the preset to our active nav source. And execute nav again. We are coming down to 10,000. We are not going to turn on the landing lights. In this aircraft there is a restriction, speed restriction, when you can turn the landing light on, and we are not going to do that just yet. And I have seen real life videos where the landing light is turned on at short final, so maybe that's what it is, but that's what we are going to do. I'll go like this until our transition waypoint and bring you guys back for the final part of the flight. Come back, friends. We are very close at 7,400, and this is a very sharp turn. I'm a little bit more worried, so I'm gonna switch to the heading mode and then bring us parallel to the runway to ease that turn a little bit. So shouldn't be a problem. ATC cleared us direct to Benfey. I don't think they care how we get there or if we need to request. They might, but beyond ATC is still like improving their vectoring, so there is that. And we are coming down to 6,000. We can switch to local barometric pressure, and you can set this here if you want. So
Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf. Descend to 4,000 feet. QNH 1032.
why am I not able to switch?
Descend to 4,000 feet. QNH 1032. Crete 5 Juliet Golf.
I guess I discovered a bug, so we are not able to set the QNH. How about that? Is there another way to do this? I don't know. We need to eventually get down to 2,000, so I'm gonna set 2,000 here. Well, actually, let's not do that. Let's just level off at 5,000. We need to find a way to change this. There we go. Okay. Now we can get down to 5,000. Still good. No worries. Speed is looking okay. Coming down to 5,000, we started to pick up the glide slope and the localizer, which is great. Once we turn, we will arm the approach, and that should take us down to the arrival runway. So 5,000 is almost there. We need to descend down to 2,000, but first we need to report established, and then they will give us a further clearance down to 2,000. Not sure what the difference between those two to descend down to 2,000, but we will see. So let's bring the range down just a tiny bit more, just to be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, we'll keep it like this. We need to feed some more thrust to keep the speed like that. That's fine. And we are cruising at 5,000, ready to turn towards Banffy. Let's start turning. And once we do this, we can arm the approach. We are cleared for the ILS, so let's bring it down to 2,000, but not descend just yet because we need to be at Banffy to do that. And we might want to slow down just a little bit more to give ourselves more time to get down to 2,000 to capture the glide slope. That's what we need to do, I guess. Alright, coming up to Banffy.
Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf. Descend to 2,600 feet.
Descend to 2,600 feet. Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf.
Let me check one thing here. Approach. Everything is still fine. It's not arming. That's the problem. All right, we'll see. Isn't that the, yeah, that's interesting, but I don't know what's happening here. We are unable to tune. Maybe we can change to the localizer here and then arm the approach. There we go. Okay, that's because we were still on the FMS. That's my bad. Aircraft had nothing to do with that. And we will increase the vertical speed and start descending down to 2,000. We can report established.
Iguana 940, established on final approach.
Iguana 940, affirmative.
Beautiful. Let's do the checklist. So seatbelts are on, condition levers will go to max RPM. We will increase the condition levers but cut the throttles. And below 170 we will do the flaps. Well, perhaps not quite yet because we need to slow down first. This is the landing that... Oh, this is before landing. But if I increase this, the speed goes up, so we need to slow down. And that's because we are also descending. That's part of the reason. There's that micro stutter again. Not sure what is this for, but it always happens. We need to get down to 2000. We are almost at our final fix, so hopefully we'll be all right. $11 miles, fine. 170 flaps can go to mid. Yep, we can drop the landing gear, go full RPM, full throttle, or max RPM, and maintain our approach speed. So we are almost at our
Iguana 940. Contact Macedonia Tower 118.105. Have a good day.
Over to Tower 118.105, Iguana 940. Macedonia Tower, Iguana 940, ILS Zulu runway 10.
Iguana 940, Macedonia Tower, wind 125 at 5, runway 10 cleared to land.
Yeah, cleared to land. Landing light is coming on.
Runway 10 cleared to land, Iguana 940.
Flaps full. And we can complete the checklist. Landing gear is on, 3 green is checked, approach speed is set. We are a little bit slow than that, so we will feed some throttle. And we'll close the checklist for now. The rest is on us. Let's get back to our approach speed. And we are almost at our
Macedonia Tower, Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf, ILS runway 16.
Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf, Macedonia Tower, wind 125 at 5, runway 16 cleared to land.
We should capture the glide slope anytime now. There
Runway 16 clear to land, Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf.
We'll come down back on the throttles to...
Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf, exit left at Alpha 5.
Exit left at Alpha 5, Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf.
What was our landing speed? .116, okay. We can come back on the throttles just a little bit more to our landing speed and maintain that.
Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf, monitor ground 121.705.
Ground 121.705, Air Crete 5 Juliet Golf.
Let's sync the heading one more time.
All aircraft be advised information Victor now current. QNH1032.
Sorry about that stutter. I'm not sure what's happening. I have to look at my graphic settings once more, but this seems to happen time to time. I will double check on that, but we are coming down, so speed is looking good. And we will disconnect the autopilot and take control. Our plane now. We are still on the localizer and the glide slope. Nothing to worry. Just nicely coming down. 1,000 feet to go. Pivoting to the right a little bit, so let's center ourselves again. Visor. There we go. Much better. Really nice and great to hand fly this aircraft. Perfect. Back on localizer, back on glide slope. So we are not gonna cut the throttles too early. Turboprops have a tendency to reduce speed very quickly, so we don't want to risk that and, you know, hitting the ground too hard. But there we are, still on the glide slope, slightly below it, so coming down. Reducing the throttle, idle. We should touch down very shortly. Hold her there. Okay, perfect. Reverse thrust. Should slow us down. 60 knots. Reversers are disengaged.
Iguana 940. Exit left at Foxtrot 5.
We are going to exit. Flaps are coming in.
Exit left at Foxtrot 5. Iguana 940.
Slow down. PM can go back.
Aegean 512, ready to go, runway 16.
Aegean 512, Macedonia Tower, wind 125 at 5, fly heading 340, runway 16, cleared for takeoff.
Condition levers to ground idle.
Fly heading 340, runway 16, cleared for takeoff, Aegean 512.
And momentarily stop here to clean the aircraft. Strobes can...
Iguana 940, contact ground 121.705.
Nice. Let's take a look at the checklist while our co-pilot is contacting ground.
Ground 121.705. Iguana 940.
Steering, we will change it to steer taxi. Flaps are up. Radar should be off, but let's double check. There it is. Transponder, we can turn it off or switch it back to standby. Done. Anti-collision lights can go to the ground mode. Perfect. Taxi landing lights. Well, we'll switch to taxi lights. Ice protection, pedo heat, windshield heat, and anti-ice systems are off position. Auto feather is now off. And cabin altitude is displaying 0. All done and good. And let's request a taxi to the ramp. Macedonia ground. Iguana 940 requesting taxi to ramp.
Iguana 940, welcome to Macedonia. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
We would like ramp 5, Iguana 940.
Iguana 940, ramp 5 taxi via Foxtrot 5, Foxtrot, Charlie, Delta.
Ramp 5 via Foxtrot 5, Foxtrot, Charlie, Delta, Iguana 940.
Let's go. We can switch this back to MS. That caution is fine. We know we turned off the auto feather and the stall warning and pitot heat, so that's what it is for. And we will continue like this to our parking spot and shut down the aircraft. Overall, I think I'm impressed with this aircraft and how it behaves and how it handles with hand flying. So it's absolutely fun to fly this aircraft. I enjoyed the flight. I will definitely do more flights with this aircraft to get used to it and maybe get a little bit faster in terms of the systems and understand how they work, so that I can probably provide a better information to you guys if you are interested in this aircraft and maybe looking for some reviews and some information to decide before you pull the trigger on this. But definitely a good aircraft to have in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I apologize for the stutters. I have to look to see what is happening in my graphics settings to understand the reason for the stutters, and I'm hopefully going to be able to resolve them. Maybe it's just my DirectX settings. I don't know. I have to look. I have to empty my cache. It's been a while since I flew, so anything is possible. We are going to take this left to Foxtrot and Charlie. From Foxtrot into Charlie, I'm sorry. That will take us to our parking position. Ramp 5 that was given by the ATC. Alright, follow this line. That should take us to Delta. Correct, there is Delta. Keep going till we reach our parking position. Sometimes it can get a little bit twitchy, especially when it's too fast. Then the turns can be a little bit harsh, but ground handling overall is great. So we are coming up to our turn from Delta, and we are going to make a right turn into Charlie and ramp 5. I'm not sure if they have given or assigned us a ramp with jetway, possible, small airport, so we'll see. That's the line we need to follow. Oops, sorry, I missed my line. That was the line. I oversteered and did not see it, so this was the line I was supposed to follow.
Aegean 546 at ramp 8, request pushback and engine start.
So this is for the next should be ours. But I see an aircraft there.
Aegean 546, Macedonia ground, pushback approved.
This is
face northwest.
Turn off the taxi light.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face northwest, Aegean 546.
Let's park the aircraft here. Perfect. Slow down, slow down. Nice and easy. And we will stop just short of that yellow line. Perfect. Set the parking brake. Parking brake is set, and we can now do the shutdown. First time landing this aircraft, by the way. I have never completed the landing. I have done couple takeoffs and startups from cold and dark, but no landing so far. Now this, you guys have experienced that, and I experienced it with you for the first time. Parking brake is set. Avionics switch can be turned off now. Bleed air off. Power lever is idle. Condition levers are in ground idle. Hydraulic pump can be turned off. And condition lever cut off. And cut off. Pump switches are now off. Are off. EPU can be moved back to the test position. Auto feather can be moved back to the test position. All electrical switches are now off except the battery switch. And
Aegean 546, request taxi.
we can bring the tablet.
Aegean 546, runway 16 taxi via Charlie, Alpha 3 Alpha, Alpha 1.
Generators off. And
runway 16 taxi via Charlie, Alpha 3 Alpha, Alpha 1 Aegean 546.
Instrument covers, engine covers, and we can open the doors and let our executive passengers out. Alright guys, this is it. Thanks for joining me in this flight with the FlightFX Piaggio P180. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like, please consider giving the video a like, and if you are not a subscriber, consider subscribing to get notified for future videos. Again, thanks for being here with me today, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.